A thread. The first news about the cops out of Uvalde was so bad that I forgot that the first news you get about cops is always the best possible spin on events from their PR people. Holy fucking shit. So the cops secured their own children and then went on to actively collude with the shooter. This is not inaction or incompetence. They literally stopped other people from intervening. They were the shooter's backup. Maybe on an individual level, some of them were expressing cowardice, but structurally, they were doing the same shit cops did during the early 20th century anti black riots, namely, move through the riot zone, disarming, arresting, or occasionally brutalizing and murdering black people. Or how they would turn people over to mobs through an elaborate make believe where they were overpowered by the mob. They just happened to tip off about when and where they would be transporting the victim. The plausible deniability may be greater, but when you're stun gunning parents to keep them from trying to stop a shooter, you're not just incompetent or afraid. At that point, you are on the shooter's side. If he was a bank robber and there were people outside the bank stun gunning do gooder passersby who wanted to run in and intervene, they would be accomplices. If it was rioters smashing windows and people around them de-arrested, they'd be accomplices. But police somehow. I think it is vitally important to understand that structurally, mass shooters and police are not only on the same side, they increasingly recognize it. What would you call someone who violently prevents you from trying to save your loved one from a murderer? It's a horror scenario where you are trapped by a group of sadistic murderers, some of whom pretend to be your friend, the better to victimize you. The police weren't useless. They were incredibly useful to the shooter.